Whew. Okay, so I decided to take in the house because we've been having a problem with porch pirates. But so there it is. Made it in. It is really flippin' heavy. All right, the box has been opened. Everything's down here. They have helpers. All right. And then over here, we have the box of like accessories, and everything's outlined where it should go, what should happen, that kind of thing. And it comes with a tool set to put together. Old chair, new chair. Not too shabby. Okay, so video wrap up time. So what do I think of the Razer chair here? I really like it. Like I'm 5'3", so I'm very small, and I was really worried when I was reading the reviews because honestly, it didn't matter what gaming chair I looked at, they were all made for men. So it was very hard to gauge kind of like, well, you know, am I gonna find something that's comfortable, you know, and not like neon pink, you know? And not that I don't like neon pink, because I did look at the neon pink colors, but like a lot of them were like, I don't know, like baby blush pink or something that like I wasn't like, it wasn't like gray with like a strip of pink or like, you know, something kind of cool like that. It was just like, I'm going to scream Hello Kitty at you pink, like just like super, super pink. So I don't know, like I'm very small is my point. I'm 5'3", and when I sit in this, it's got bucket seats, and the edges of the bucket go like basically on the sides of my legs. And then when my husband sat in it, he was like, "Oh man, this really hugs you," you know, and he's like 6 feet. So it just to give you an idea, you know, it's just very, I was very worried about finding a chair that I was gonna like because I'm short, and everything I read said that it wasn't gonna be an easy thing to do. So long story short, I like the chair. I fit in it really, really well. And I will tell you, this lumbar support is freaking awesome. So I've had lower back issues for a while. And when I first turned on the lumbar support of this, it was literally like, here's my like reaction to it. I was like, like, it was just like instant support in all in the right places. Like as soon as I like, cause you move the little lever on the side to do it, and it was just, man, I did that and I just sat there for like a minute going, oh, that's nice. It was really, really good. So that was one of the reasons, is that I was actually looking at the cheaper model, the one that doesn't have the lumbar support. And I saw a lot of people went ahead and bought like the lumbar support pillow that goes with it. And you know, honestly, I was just kind of like, I don't want to deal, because I've had those before, and they shift so much when you sit down that to me it's just not worth it. You know, it's like, it's super annoying. It never stays where you need it to be. And I couldn't imagine that even though there was like a $50 pillow, like it was really going to be any different. It was just a pillow with a strap around it, and you put the strap around the chair and hope it stays put. They don't stay put. So anyway, this lumbar support in here is really awesome. I was able, because of my small frame, I was able to move the, come on brain, the handles, the armrests. That's what it is. Like the armrest. I'm not even gonna get it in here, am I? The handles or armrests. I was able to push them all the way in, because not only do they move up and down, they move left and right, and they turn like this, right? So I was able to. I wanted them straight, but like all the way in and down. I'm comfortable. Like it's nice. It fits well. The only thing I was really kind of iffy on was this guy. This one right here. I just, I don't know, like head pillows for me kind of, this is gonna be an exaggeration, but they tend to do this when I'm sitting, and it gets really old really fast, you know? But because of the lumbar support being enabled and everything else, it feels nice, at least for now. You know, maybe as I'm like sitting throughout the workday, you know, maybe my neck will do like this number, you know, and I'll be kind of like, why am I doing this? And then I'll just kick it off, you know. But for the moment, it seems nice. I like it. It's very soft. It's not firm at all. Like you can see me squishing it here. Like that's not firm at all. It's just, your head goes right into it. It's like a pillow. What else? The only other thing, I had a few usability things. Not that Razer is really listening to this video, but Razer, if you are, first of all, this tool was amazing. Thank you so much for making me not have to do this with an L-shaped Allen wrench. That was amazing. The only thing that I really ran into when putting this together was on the sides of the chair. There are 2 screws on either side when you're trying to put the top onto the bottom. There's a screw here and here on both sides. They didn't seem like they lined up, and at one point I was like lifting the top part of the chair while trying to like push it in, right? And then the same thing happened, not only when I was trying to put the screws from the bottom bolts into the back of the chair, but it also happened when I put the covers that go on top of those things on it. So what happened is that what ended up finally working for me, because it was like the screws weren't long enough or something. Like they were lined up, they were in front of the hole, but like they weren't going in, right? So I just kept futzing with it, and so what I ended up doing was I stuck this through the hole, and then I just kind of found like the other part of it, like lined it up, and it ended up being like way off, like because let me explain. The covers that go on top of it, there's like a little gizmo on the bottom that you shove in, and it like clicks into the bottom part, and then the top part has a screw, and you're pushing that top part in with the screw. Well, what ended up happening is that in order to get this hole to line up with this hole, I had to stick this in the first hole and then kind of like jimmy it over, right? So that it would line up, and it was pushing really hard on this side. So the holes were not lined up, I don't think, that the way that they should have been. But once I finally did that, it was still a struggle to actually get the threads of the screw to connect. But once I did, then it worked, and I was able to kind of like force fit it. And I just thought, the rest of this is so well done. I don't understand why this wasn't so great. The other thing is that when I was putting on I don't know what the mechanism is called, but the part that actually connects to the bottom of the chair, it then connects to the pole of the chair. That part, it has 4 screws, and the back ones are longer screws, and the front part are the shorter screws. The shorter screws, they were screwed all the way in, but once they were screwed all the way in, they just kept spinning. But you had to unscrew them to take them out. Like, it wasn't like you could just pull them out, but you would get to like the end and they would just spin. So I don't know, it didn't feel like it was working correctly to me, but I mean, I figured, you know what, they're not falling out, and I'm gonna be sitting on this thing, so it's not like it's preventing something, holding something. I don't know, I just didn't think it was a problem, so I just kind of bailed on it and was like, you know what, we're just gonna pretend that it's working, and we're just gonna move forward. So, overall, I think this chair is freaking awesome. It's so comfortable. It is exactly like what people say in the comments of like Amazon, where they say that it's firm, but it's still really comfortable. And I can't really explain it any better than that, except that like when you're sitting in it, you feel supported, and that's the firmness I think they're talking about. But it's comfortable because it's shaped in such a way that it's not fighting your body structure. So, kudos to Razer for kind of like putting that together. And as far as usability, because usability expert here, so like, 1, the packaging was freaking amazing. Like, it was awesome. 2, when I unpackaged it and I was looking through it and everything, it was great. I got this wow factor of the big green paper, and then I flip it over and that's the instructions. That's kind of where it started to get a little fuzzy. So when I flipped it over and looked at the instructions, and in the moment, I'm like, this is great, this is phenomenal, like this is so well done. And there were some funny pictures on the flap of the box and everything, just kind of like, hey, funny, don't do this, don't do that kind of things, Some of them were real and some of them were outlandish, kind of things, So it was cute. But what ended up happening is that as I started to get into the instructions, there's like a wire that comes off the top part, this part, and then it like, you're supposed to like snake it down like underneath the bottom part when you finally do attach it. When I first put this together, I didn't have like, I don't know, it wasn't real clear in the instructions about what to do with the wire. So the wire ended up being in front of like on the top part of the bottom part, and not like snaked behind it, so that I could then fasten it underneath the seat. So I ended up having to take that side off and then like fish it through and then back under, and then it was where it was supposed to be, and it was fine. But the instructions did not make it clear what to do with that wire. It almost looks like it was where it was supposed to be. So, and it wasn't. So I didn't figure that out until later down the line when I was trying to put it together. And then I'm like, this isn't where it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. Why would it snake over the end of this? So then I went back and figured it out. So that was the usability thing. The other part was when I went to pull the box out, like there's like an accessories box. When I went to pull the box out, it does say open here, like where you're supposed to open it, but it's buried. It's like the bottom of the box. So like there's the box of the accessory stuff, and then the open here part for the flap is like near the bottom edge of the box. So like you wouldn't see it. Like I would, as a user person, I would put the open here with an arrow and then like kind of like snake the arrow over the side of the box and then pointing down so that the user could follow the arrow down to where they're supposed to open it. I mean, it was only like a 2-second delay, you know, like you pulled it out and then I'm looking around and then I found it and then I fixed it. But, you know, just so that the user's not like, oh, do I have to tear into the side of this box, you know, kind of thing. But overall, like this chair has been the chair itself is like chef's kiss. It's wonderful. It's great. The packaging, you know, kind of lost its luster after a while. The presentation of like the tool and the actual screws and everything, that was great until I started to use it. When I started to use it, because you open up the flap, and at first I kind of groaned because I'm like, oh no, this is like hermetically sealed, like, you know, whatever. And then I realized that it wasn't. I could just pull the thing open and it was fine. But as soon as I opened it, you know, those screws went everywhere, right? So eventually I just ended up dumping them out onto like a towel and then like putting it together from there, which kind of defeated the purpose, I think, of having such a nice presentation of it. So there's that. And then also, this is so prima donna-y, like, I'm sorry, it really is. But you know, the chair cost $500, right? It was $4.99 on Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description below. And sometimes you can catch the sucker on sale. I couldn't wait any longer and I had to buy it like full price. But like sometimes, I think it's this one and the cheaper version are both like they go on sale. I'll link the other one too, but honestly, I think this one was much better because the lumbar was included. So if you have back problems, I would say just go with this one, you know, because you're gonna keep the chair for forever. So anyway, back to the problem. As I was going through, and there's like there's this notebook here. I was like, oh, hey, look at that, handprints. There was like these little stickers in here. And like, again, this is so prima donna-y, but if I spent $500 on something, I would expect to have different merch available than what I got when I got my mouse. That's all, you know, and it's such a minor thing that it's just like, you know, if you're spending that kind of cash on something, you know, it would be nice if it came with something that I'd want to put on. I mean, you know, the people that buy this chair probably are already Razer fans. So why not give them a little something extra that only people who have the chair have instead of this mass-produced thing? Yeah, if there's any questions about the chair, I can let you know, like, especially if you see this video far in the future, I can kind of give you an update if you ask me for it in the comments. I don't always come back. Well, that's not true. You can catch me on Instagram. That's probably the best place to ask me in the future. If we're like a year from this video, send me a message on Instagram. I'll definitely answer that one. And that is Wendy_literal. Wendy and then _ LITTERAL at Instagram, and that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. Don't forget to follow this next video right here and check that one out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, take care. Bye. Oh, that actually makes it record. That's cool.